Hey everybody, Carm Capriato, how are you? Glad to see you. Glad to have you here. It is a CarmCast, and we have this open forum today. We're gonna call it CarmCast or Shop Talk 360, and I've got two really good friends, Tom Ham from Automotive Management Network and Rachel Walker from City Auto, Gainesville, Florida here, and we absolutely have zero agenda. And when you finally hang out and join us in social media, which is going to be great, we're going to do something different today that we've never ever done before. We're going to ask you to join us and come on board this panel. You're going to be in backstage with us, and we're going to start a discussion, and we'd love for you to join it. The URL to get there is going to be pretty easy. It is remarkableresults.biz/panel. And that is how you're going to get here. I'm also going to post that right now while I'm thinking of it inside of, and I just posted it in Facebook and in YouTube. So if you want to drop by, that would be great. And if you are hanging with us by any chance and I wish I had a producer here. If you're going to be hanging out with us in social, checking with your city, give us a like. Love to have a comment from you or share. And for this show, you can come on board and be with us. Okay, so something, let me just bring up one thing that I'm specifically doing tomorrow night is I'm moderating a panel with many of the members from ASCCA, but this is a worldwide North American panel. We are going to talk about the roadmap to the future of auto repair. We've got a great panel of 8 and me, and if you could see some of the names on there, you'll know that these people, really do have a great pulse. But the key is that we've got a couple of young, and Colin Yarger, Esteban Gonzalez, and Matt Lockowitz are some young shop owners, so we just can't wait to hear their perspective. So don't forget, you can join us at remarkableresults.biz/panel and come on board the show. Never did this before. Tom Ham from AutoCentric and Automotive Management Network. Good to have you here. Are you ever going to retire? Because I know, I think you're on the early side of 60.
Absolutely not. That's such a silly concept. I don't even like the concept. I'm anti-retirement. No logical reason to retire.
Really?
No.
And it's probably because you have your operation running just the way you want it.
But I think it can apply to anybody. It can apply to any of your employees too. I think the way technology is advancing and the options that we have, what people can do is they can wind down, they can ratchet it back as needed to fit whatever they would like. They can almost go into more the enjoyable mode, if you will, and continue to contribute, continue to produce, continue to have purpose. Continue to fill a need that employers have, continue to use all the assets that they've developed over 40, 50, 60 years. And just it's a win for everybody. It's a win for customers. It's a win for employees. It's a win for business owners. Everybody wins, but you just make the adjustment so it works for everybody.
Rachel, how can you, being such a young person in this industry, hear Tom say, I'm never going to retire, and look at the fact that you have 70 more years to keep working or something like that?
Yeah, that's not happening. I will be retiring one day. My dad is 67. A lot of people know that I took over this business from my father, and I watched my dad. He didn't know what else to do. He didn't have hobbies. He didn't have other things. I'm not saying that that's you, Tom. He also didn't have the spark anymore whenever I started working with him. So he's a little different. He was tired. He was ready to let go. He just didn't know what else to do. So watching that, I will make sure that I'm not going to put myself in that position because it took him a long time of me firing him, as he'll put it, from the shop and trying to find something else to do, to apply himself, because the reason this business was successful for so long and still is because of the way he built it, the foundation, the honesty and integrity, right? So I want to carry on that part of the legacy because it's such a beautiful thing, but I also don't want to put myself in a situation where I'm 60 plus years old and I'm still doing the same exact thing. I want to take time for myself. I'm a busy person. I have 2 kids that are young, and I don't know. I do want to retire one day. It's not going to be, anytime super soon, but I learned how important it is to plan for retirement, meaning putting money in a simple IRA or a Roth IRA or whatever, depending on your age, but contributing to that so that you have that nest egg when you are ready to do that. And if worst case scenario, you at least have something that, say you are still working, you can still pull from that, right, on a yearly basis or monthly basis.
I have to tell you, Rachel and I did a one-on-one episode way long time ago, Rachel, and it was episode 256. You just mentioned something when my dad pretty much says I fired him. And the story, she tells this unbelievable story. It's really why do I remember that from almost 400 episodes ago? Because it was so good and it was so transparent and so honest. And thank you for that. Hey, listen, you can join us, remarkableresults.biz/panel. Come into the studio, into the panel. JJ Greenfield, welcome. How are you, man? Retirement, anything on your mind about that?
I've actually started kind of thinking about what that's going to look like in the future for me. And I kind of agree with Tom, at least in this situation as a business owner, to get the value that I would put on the business, I would have to become the bank, because I don't think a bank would loan someone if they wanted to take over the business. So I do think what I'm going to do is slowly start to hire someone, and I've already kind of begun the process. Just I'm not as tied to the shop as I once was. But as the years go on, and I want to travel more, some extensive travel, starting the business, there were many years where, you couldn't get away at all, until the years go by and you staff up properly. So I will continue to hire people to slowly but surely take over my responsibilities. It will cut into my wallet. So I won't make as much money, but as I get older, I'll need less. And then I'll start drawing on Social Security. Like Rachel said, I've got money in retirement accounts. I could possibly sell the building and own the business. I could sell the business and own the building. There's lots of options.
Yes, there are. Yeah.
And at some point it will be completely stepping away, but when that time will be, I don't know. I'm 56 years old. It'd be at least 10 or more years, I think, before I would just completely step away from the business.
Yeah. We've done so many shows on succession planning, and I am going to make succession planning a very big theme here in 2021. Why? I'll tell you why. Because I want to highlight the youth of our industry. I want us to realize that we've got to help the young people who want to take over our businesses, and the plans and the ideas. Colleen Yarger is an example. Just a few weeks ago, I published an episode with her. She's 29 years old. She bought the business from Mark Goldsmith, and 29 years old, doesn't even own a house. And she bought the business. So these are, and there's great stories. Mark worked a long time building an internal candidate plan, and all kinds of great success stories out there.
Well, and Carm, I want people to start thinking about the possibilities, and I'll just throw out the kind of examples. You have this great service advisor, and he's been there a long time, and but he'd like to spend some more time maybe with the grandkids now, some time traveling. He'd like to do a lot of different stuff. He says, it's just time I retire and step away. And say, well, hey, Jerry, what if we spent a few $1,000s and set you up with a really nice office at home? You'd never have to come here to the shop unless you want to stop in and say hi. And 20 hours a week or so, you can talk to customers. A service advisor really can do about 95% of their job remotely. There's just, greeting the customer in person. And you can call the people you know, you can sell them the jobs, you can see everything. We got camera systems, you can see everything that's going on. What do you think of that? He might go, well, that doesn't sound all bad. That might be a great idea. So now we've solved. Now we've made him, put him in a better position. We put the owner in the shop in a better position. The customers win. Everybody wins. Now, that's just an employee, for example. And I think there's so many possibilities that we just got to start thinking a little bit with part-time, with remote. And it can involve technicians, too. It just depends on how creative you want to get.
I love what you just said. I am releasing an episode, Tom, I think within about 3 weeks or less, on virtual service advisor. And, Tom tried this and did
We've
this.
done it, yeah.
I know you have in the early days. And this is a great episode about how it happened in this particular case. And me and the guy, Robbie Bunch, got together and started to create a brand new cottage industry called Virtual Service Advisor, and rent yourself out or offer yourself up to conditions that happen inside of a business, right? There's somebody going to be sick for a while who can come over with the cameras and the online, the cloud-based software. It wouldn't be hard. And so we all think, what happens to the retired service advisor? Well, they become a virtual. They set up a little NORAD in the spare room and they work a couple of days a week, or they pitch hit for a couple of weeks for a company.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely. And owners, the thing is, most owners will say that, they want to finally retire. Well, if you find out, you say, well, what are the things you hate to do? And they got a list. What are the things you love to do at the shop you really enjoy? And they come up with that list. And I say, well, you could do those things only, and you could do them remotely from home. Maybe it's a shop owner happens to love to do estimates and round up parts. That was always his favorite thing to do. Well, he can do that for 10, 20 hours a week from home and hire other people at the shop. And it's really endless the ways you can think about it. And it's just opportunities where everybody wins.
I love Rocky Cominian says Mark Goldsmith needs to become a retirement coach for owners. There's a brand new, incredible idea. We just birthed these unbelievable ideas out of either need or necessity. It's amazing. Thank you for that. I'll be with a whole bunch of great people tomorrow night. As I was mentioning, Rocky and I got together and we quickly put together an excellent panel, Roadmap to the Future of Auto Repair. That's going to be tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Eastern. And it's going to be just a wonderful panel. Anyone else who would love to join us? JJ, what about work environment? What are you doing we saw a great tour of your place yesterday. You have a phenomenal facility. Rachel, you ever been to his place? No.
We've talked about it.
Yeah, you should see it's up on the web, on my website or aftermarketweekly.com. Look at the video. Just an excellent, just a beautiful place, and all the amenities you have for your people.
Oh, thank you. I'm very proud of this place.
You should be. What about work environment, Tom? What are we doing?
Well, I think our culture continues to change. The younger folks are a little more liking of a nice place to work. They're not the old grizzly guys from the gas stations back in the 60s anymore. And we really start looking at, and I haven't seen everyone shop, of course, but when we start talking about shop environments and for service advisors, technicians, and everything, but we start looking at all the ways that we can provide a nice place to work in terms of temperature, humidity, sound, comfort, ergonomics, the furnishings, all these various things that make it easier on one's body and just a more enjoyable place to be 8-9 hours a day instead of this cold, wet, damp, mean environment that a lot of us grew up in.
I mean, I'd agree to that. I've shared this before, but when I started working here, I've been in the industry since July of 2010. So when I started, I literally didn't know anything about a car. So my job that I created for myself was making this shop not look like exactly what you were talking about, Tom. You know, it was bad. So I spent the first almost solid year cleaning up this place. And, you know, once I bought the business from my father in 2016, and I was in the process of buying the actual property and building in 17, I had already started the renovations. And I mean, I did everything. It looks like a completely different shop. So my taupe walls and my floors and my trim, you know, all of it, you walk in and you're like, am I at an auto repair shop? And that was my goal because one, a lot of our customers, especially at that time, were women because they felt so comfortable here. And I'm like, they don't even want to go to the bathroom, Dad. Like, it's, you know, like, that's not a good thing. Like, that's important for a woman to feel comfortable in a bathroom. Sorry, we have to sit on the seat, you know? So I don't know. I've learned a long time ago that I believe just as a whole in sales, that the cleanliness and the niceness and the extras that you give customers along with your team, you know, I want my customers to be treated, you know, exceptionally, but I want my team to be treated the same way. Because without my team, I don't have customers and vice versa. Right. So I 100% agree with you. I mean,
Yeah,
the work environment and the smells.
Well, there's a progression that's gone on. You know, we really started spiffing up the customer waiting areas. And we started looking at landscaping in the outside of buildings. And we started looking at office areas and service advisor areas. And a lot of the advanced shops have really done a lot with all those things. And kind of the last front that's left is the shop area. And the shop area can use some help in most shops. I've been in a lot of shops where, you know, I leave and I say to my wife, I wouldn't work there. There's no way I'd work there. You know, I guess I'm too much of a wuss or whatever you want to call it. But
Hoity-toity. That's the word.
Yeah, but it just sure. Why not? But the big thing that I think is going to occur here is when we look for employees, especially we look for technicians. The technicians more and more are going to be looking at how nice, comfortable of a place is this to work. You know, when they got to bring their own space heaters in and all this kind of, well, of course, you know, our shops up north and this kind of stuff, then, well, you know, who wants to do that?
Agreed.
Hey, I want to stop and say, what's the vision poster doing behind you, Carm? And of course, every time I travel and I set up studio wherever I do, I always make a poster of everyone I've ever interviewed who has decided to go to an event. And the reason that I'm actually going to put a bunch of these up over the next 2 or 3 weeks, because I'm getting to the point where I got to get out. And the last time I was out was Vision 2020. I mean, there it is. And so I'm putting it up there, trying to maybe get the vibe of our country going right so that we can start seeing each other face to face again. And anyway, that's why the vision poster's up here in the background. You know, Tom, I don't think you're a wuss. I think it's well, maybe to a point, but here's the point. You love your comfort, which is why you're in Florida and not in Michigan, since it's single digits down there. But here's the point. I think the younger people, they're going to want the right environment. And if we're going to succeed our business for the next 20, 30, 40 years, we got to do what's right.
And you look at the culture, this is just the culture and society that we're used to, so on and so forth. An example, if you've been in this business a while, you've had a company vehicle, so on and so forth. And I remember my 1966 Chevy pickup. And let's take a look at a pickup today. I mean, the luxury level is staggering compared to that thing. It's just changed so much, and we're very much used to a lot of different comforts, a lot of different technology, and we have to start providing all that kind of stuff to compete with other other shops and other industries who are trying to hire those people away. Make me comfortable. Do those. That's going to be a bigger thing as we go. I notice it when I interview technicians now. They'll walk around, they'll go, "Oh, this is nice. This looks really nice." And one thing they often ask up here is, how's the heat in here in the winter? And if you got to wear a coat in here, it's too cold. My guys, they work back there. They'll work back there in a t-shirt in the middle of the winter. It was -7 there this morning. But that's how warm we want to keep it. There's no reason we shouldn't keep it 70 degrees in the middle of the winter.
How about air conditioned?
Yeah, it's on my list.
Well, I guess we need to call the kettle black here right now.
Well, you know what I found out? It's kind of fascinating, and I'll probably get proven wrong here in a minute, that as you go up north into Michigan, you'll find out, and air conditioning is on our to-do list. We've got some other fan circulation systems right now, but you get up north there and you'll see more and more shops that are air conditioned. Obviously, they're heated up there. And I get down to Florida, especially if you get into South Florida, they don't heat them and they don't air condition them. They do nothing. As a matter of fact, I got a good buddy who down in South Florida, and most of the shop is outside.
Yeah.
It just, the further south you go, the weirder it gets.
I'll tell you something. Yeah. Think about the north. Everyone knows I live in Buffalo, and we will get those 10 or 20 days during the summer where it's 90 and up, and it's just terrible. But there's nothing like open doors and outside and fresh air and warm breezes, to want to live in an air conditioned shop, for those, 2 or 3 months of summer that we get up here. So, I guess if you have that option, because it gets really hot and crazy, JJ, yesterday's tour on Aftermarket Weekly, he showed us this gorgeous facility that he has in the bathroom and the shower for his technicians. And what he said yesterday was this: every once in a while it gets just so hot and the guys or the gals have things to do after work, they got a chance to have a shower.
And you also get the gas tank that sprays all over you, and then it's really nice to have a shower.
But you got to watch the tour from yesterday on aftermarketweekly.com. I have to tell you, JJ, I was blown away. He's showing the shower, and he wants to be sure he gets in really close to where the towels are hanging. Because the towels are monogrammed. I
thought you were going to say that.
Just like at the Ritz. Oh my God. Oh my God.
I'll put that on my list. Okay.
Yeah, please, Tom.
Monogrammed towels. All right.
There's an amenity that you must have. Now, what I failed to ask you yesterday, JJ, was, is it their initials, or it's just the shop name, the logo of the shop, right?
No, each employee has his own towel with his name on it.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
There we go.
How super cool. Well, hey, don't forget, I don't know how long we're going to go, but we're having too much fun right now. And, like JJ joined us, anyone who would like to come in, remarkableresults.biz/panel, but I also put in the direct link to the studio. So one way or the other, and frankly, Jamie Carlson came in and I brought her into the studio, but she disappeared. My point is that I'd like to do these shows maybe every 2 or 3 weeks and just have an open forum with additional people in the industry. I know everyone has so many great things to say and or to talk about, and we'd love to have you here expanding the think inside of our beloved aftermarket. We're talking getting paid for what we're worth this Friday on the Town Hall Academy, getting paid for what we're worth. Some great discussion points coming up with my panel. And we've done shows on that in the past. Rachel, JJ, Tom, what gets in the way of shop owners charging enough for the knowledge and investment they have?
Yeah, usually yourself is what gets in the way.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Yeah, it's a personality thing. There are certain personalities where shop owners where they'll go to a meeting and somebody says, you really ought to raise your rates $20 an hour. And they go through an explanation. They'll show them why, et cetera, et cetera. And they go, okay. And they go back to the shop and they do it. And life goes on. And other guys, you suggest 50 cents and man, they just have an emotional breakdown. And what I find with some of the shop owners that I've talked with on the issue is to just put it in your calendar. On the 20th of each month, raise the labor rate $1, and a year from now, it'll be $12 higher, or $2 and make it 24, whatever it should be. And it slowly gets there and nobody knows the difference. And that usually tends to help the people who have a hard time doing it. But it's usually it's overcoming it personally. I think people are too hung up on the price. They got to emphasize other stuff for their customers.
I find here what I've been working on more my hourly labor rate. You bump that, nobody knows the difference, especially if you sell the job properly. You don't say it's 2.5 hours labor at $110 an hour and have people start doing math in their heads. But it's changing the belief system not only with customers but even with my service advisors on diagnostic time. These cars are getting very, very complicated and very difficult to diagnose. And we have to be able to have a conversation with a customer and explain to them that, diagnosing an open circuit in your airbag is not, they think we have these computers that we plug in and they just spit out, I can go to AutoZone. They'll tell me what's wrong. I'll plug in and they'll tell me what's wrong with the car. And that's just not the truth. And it's changing the belief systems.
Yeah. And that's really when the, a term that Jeff Cowan, who's a service advisor trainer, uses all the time is word tracks. And he really suggests that people come up with a really good set of word tracks where a service advisor has these explanations that they can give. And if it's explained well to most people, it's not a problem. But usually the problem is lack of being able to explain it well. And that's where the failure occurs with the diagnostic charges. So just like you said.
So what is a person who goes to the retailer, they plug in and they tell them what's wrong with the car? What happens next?
They sell them a part.
Yeah, often the wrong part.
And then they call you because they want you to put it in.
Yeah, okay.
Because now they can't put it in.
And you say no?
I say no.
It seems like we're seeing less of that. Now that could be just regional. That could be just my own personal experience. It seems like we're seeing a little bit less of that. And the other thing, there's a separation there. I tell people that if you have a lot of customers coming in with that kind of explanation, or you have a lot of customers come in bringing their own parts, then the question is, why are you attracting those customers?
Right.
And sometimes it's not that you're attracting them. Sometimes it's where you are. And you got to consider, how do I quit attracting them? I mean, how do I attract a better class of people? Or in some cases, maybe it's time to move.
100% agree.
Yeah.
I think that's huge. We were talking about getting paid what you're worth and labor rates and all that. And I agree on, as far as the labor rates, people don't notice that as much. They're more inclined to look at the part cost and say, why am I paying, $30 more than I can go buy it for, however, you want to look at it. And that's when you give the explanation of selling yourself and who you are and what your warranty is, and you're guaranteeing, that they're not going to come back. So I'll give you an example. I had a customer with, let's say, a 2003 Ford Taurus, real clean car, low mileage, but it needed a fuel pump. Well, I quoted Motorcraft, that's what we were going to install. Well, people started talking to her and she said, well, I talked to her. She said, I want a copy of your parts invoice. And I said, excuse me? And she said, well, I want to know, where you're getting it and how much you're paying for it. And I said, you do understand this is a business, correct? And if I don't mark up parts and I don't get paid and make profit on my parts, my labor, I won't be here for you next year. Do you understand that? Well, yes. I said, so I'm just going to advise you, asking a repair shop for a copy of their invoice from a parts facility, that's not a thing. So we broke down was that she had people talking to her, and she's like, well, I can go and buy that part at AutoZone. I can go buy a fuel pump at AutoZone or wherever. And she said, for say $89. And I said, okay. I said, well, let me tell you what I've learned in the industry. I've put those aftermarket fuel pumps in a Ford. And guess what happens? The customer's stranded on the side of the road in 3 to 6 months. They're coming back to my shop irate because I just fixed something and now it's broken. I don't want you to be stranded on the side of the road, and I don't want to see you back for a repair that we've already done. I don't want you ever have to do it again in that vehicle. So if we're going to do it, we're going to do it the right way. And it's explaining it in a way where you get down to that level where that person is, and realizing just because, I mean, I had a recent thing, you know, we fixed an AC line. Well, another one started leaking 2 weeks later. Well, you just fixed my AC, right? And it's customer perception. And I was just teaching my team this, like, customer's perception is my AC was broken, you fixed it, and now it's broken again, right? They don't understand there's all these hoses, et cetera. So you get down to, I believe, getting down to that level, which I feel that I can relate with because I was there. You know, I knew nothing about cars when I started in the industry. So I learned as I went, and I learned how to educate my customers the right way and be able to talk to them in a fashion that they can understand what I'm saying, or physically show them.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I see that the best service advisors are the ones who attract the best customers. And, you know, they approach the customer from the standpoint of, you have this problem, you have green fluid in your garage. And for $1,240, I can make the green fluid go away and your car will be happy. And other than that, we don't get into all the details of the pricing or you know, he keeps it away from that. She keeps it away from that. It's just the ability of a good salesman. And I just, we're having boy, this will be fun. We're having a new pool heater put in Friday. I'm sure a lot of the country are going, what are you insane? Rachel and I are in pool heater areas right now, but we're having a new one put in. And the guy was here yesterday or the day before, and he gave us a total price. He didn't tell us how much the heater was. He didn't tell us how much the electrical wiring is and the labor and the time it takes. He didn't tell us any of that. He gave us a bottom line figure on putting in a fantastic pool heater with a fantastic warranty and controls. And he told us all the wonderful things about it and why we should get that. And that's what we bought. And of course, I'm the kind of customer, obviously, that he wants. And same in our industry, repair shop, we got to find the customers that we want too.
There's the key.
It's okay to fire customers. And I learned that the hard way.
Yeah.
It is okay. I like to always have somewhere else for them to go. You know, or say they come in, and I've had 2 times I've had to have conversations with. One was a huge guy, and thankfully I had to have that conversation on the phone and not face to face, because I don't think I would have had that conversation face to face. But he tried to say that we were throwing parts at it when we were just trying to get spark in an old Ford truck. And I said, no, sir, you've already done that, right? You've already thrown the fuel pump. You've done all these things. You brought it to me. I'm asking for $256. And if you don't want to start there, then you should take your vehicle somewhere else. Don't tell me I'm throwing parts at it. And it's okay to fire those people. Of course, he's like, I don't want to take it anywhere else. And we fixed it. But you have to
wait a
make
minute.
sure.
So he doesn't want to go anywhere else, but you're having this gap in understanding and him wanting to be a good customer. Do you basically say, listen, this is how we need to do business in the future? Do you have that? Because he
Absolutely.
says he wants to stay. Now you have an opportunity to set up what that relationship is like.
Oh, we draw it out, and they understand.
Okay.
I mean, yes, customer satisfaction. Yes, customer service, blah, 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 right? Happy customer. I got it. Sometimes customers have to have a reality check, right? And they have to be explained, like, this is how my business works. And if you don't like it, there's another 115 shops in my city. So go find someone that's going to cater to you want the way that you want to be catered to. But we go above and beyond, and we firmly believe that for everyone that we take care of. So if that's not going to work for that customer, it's okay. Yeah. Find somewhere else.
And an important point that Rachel's making is she's controlling the situation. You can't let the customer control the situation. This is your ground, your turf. You need to control the situation in a nice, friendly way. Of course, we're trying to make a sale. That's what we're trying to do. But you remain in control. And if the customer won't allow that, then the customer needs to go try to control some other shop. Sure.
JJ, many people ever walk in with their own parts?
No, rarely anymore. I used to see it more prevalent, but not so much anymore. I don't even see a whole lot. We get some calls about I went to AutoZone and they told me I have this code. And the way I present it to them is, if I just told you that I live in this zip code, does it tell you where that I live? You know where I live? No. Well, that's all that trouble code did, is tell you that you have a problem in your evaporative emission system. It didn't tell me whether you have a pinhole leak in a hose or a purge valve or whatever else it is. You just got a zip code.
Guys, is this going to go away in the next few years because of the complexity of the vehicle and the pushback that the service repair industry is saying? Listen, this is crazy. I don't know why you do it. I mean,
Well, JJ just mentioned, I think one of the reasons he's seen it decrease is, we can have this negative stereotype in our head of all the people at the parts counter at certain parts chains and et cetera, but some of them aren't that bad either. They're starting to learn, and they're going to tell them, okay, we got a code so and so, and we don't know what part to sell you, and you're going to have to go up to JJ's shop, and he's going to charge you some money to diagnose this, and it's going to cost some money to fix it right, because this is probably beyond do-it-yourselfer stuff. And they tell people that. So we get those people too. They've been to wherever and gotten the code pulled, and then we come in and we say, we're going to have to spend some money on diagnosis, and they go, okay. So I think it is improving, because I think everybody's understanding it a little bit better.
Well, and I think that comes down to us in our shops, and we have to educate our customers, and we have to be transparent to a certain extent with them. We have to charge for diagnostics, and what that diagnostic fee is paying for is X, Y, and Z. And people also need to understand that we don't just go and buy the $80, $90 little code reader and tell you what's wrong with your vehicle. We spend thousands of dollars on a scanner, renew it, update it. You know what I'm saying? Or buy multiple scanners. Same with, alignment machine and tire machines. People, you don't make much money on tires. I do it as, I want to be everything. I want to be a one-stop shop for my customers. And if you can go get tires cheaper somewhere else, go ahead. I don't know. I think educating our customers is huge.
Yeah, and I think one of the biggest things with transparency, and this is something that not everybody can do, but if you can all do it, is a nice big picture window between your customer waiting area and your shop, where they can see pretty much every corner of that operation. Now, contrary to what you might think, they don't stand there and watch. They notice the window's there, they might walk over to it, and then they go sit down. But the fact that the window's there, and your transparency, Rachel, says that. Says they're not hiding anything. It's not like the car dealership where everything's hidden out back somewhere. I can stand here 20 feet away and watch what they're doing. Oh, okay, I'll go have coffee, sit down, watch TV. And they feel very good about that. And that's one of the things when in the building we're in right now, before we even moved in, there was a wall there. And I said, that wall's got to go. We got to have a big window. I want people to be able to see what's in there.
That's a great point. And more I've seen that over and over again. 2 weeks ago, we did a shop tour on Aftermarket Weekly, and this place was just like almost total glass. You could see just about anywhere and anything. Hey, look at even though Bill, what did Bill have to say here? I don't see it going away. On the contrary, it will accelerate for those shops that are unable and unwilling to properly answer to these kinds of inquiries. Well, Bill, I'm sorry you believe that. I would think that the trend would be the other way because of the pushback that we're making, and it just will wear down the fact that but again, it goes back to everybody wants a deal and everybody's looking for a cheap way to get around things. And okay, so we'll agree to disagree. But hey, listen, this was my first attempt at getting other people to come in. JJ, thank you for being here. We've, I guess Kelly Weatherby had a shot at trying, but apparently she may have had a problem. So I don't want to stop doing this. I think it's a great forum. We'll bring on a couple of guests. We'll bring on some other people And we'll call this thing Shop Talk 360. And this was fun. I loved it. There was no agenda, but you guys really covered some really great things. And we learned about the monogram towels.
I love that.
Hey, Carm, you forgot all about the
Love
bar.
that.
You're talking about the towels. You didn't even
Oh
tell
God,
us.
yes. Can we? Oh, please go watch this. Please go
I'll
watch
see if
this
I
this
can-
tour.
Because I don't think I can turn the camera.
After,
around.
yeah, wait, don't open it yet. Don't open it yet.
Okay,
So
that's the-
aftermarketweekly.com, he says, well, here's
Let's
my
see if I can-
office. Here's my office. And then he says, and here's the greatest part of his office. Go ahead and
It's
do
a
it.
bar, I
Go
hope.
ahead. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
And if I can get close enough,
Yeah.
I can't see it. The decanter is
Oh,
on,
wow.
gee.
and so are the glasses.
So do you use that
Oh.
whenever you go to fire somebody, or you pull out a glass and
Actually, the person who's in that more than anybody else is your friend Brian.
I'm so
PPH.
surprised.
Oh my.
Just called him out.
So basically, yesterday I said, I got to get down and see you because we can have some bourbon. We can drink some bourbon together. All right. Well, great. Thank you so much, JJ. Those are the precious little moments that come out of the tours that we do on the Aftermarket Weekly show. Kelly says, love the idea. We'll hope for a better result next time. Don't stop giving us great opportunity. Okay, thanks. Thank you. Party at JJ's. Yeah, hey, trust me, Bill and I'd get on a plane tomorrow. In fact, we could do a tour, Bill. We could go to
Where is
JJ's.
JJ's shop? Where
I'm in
is
In
it?
Jacksonville.
Jacksonville. He's in
Jacksonville.
Florida too.
Oh, okay. Hey, you notice a problem here? We got 3 people in Florida and 1 in New York.
Yeah.
You see something wrong with this picture?
Yeah. Don't,
Oh, okay.
every time Tom and I talk, he reminds me that I need to leave New York, and because everybody else is. Let me see. Rocky says, JJ, can JJ just go and walk around the shop so we can take a glance? No, Rocky, we did it yesterday for 8 minutes. Aftermarketweekly.com. You just click on it and you'll see the video of his shop. But thanks, Rocky. We actually, what we should do in the future, if I had the technical prowess, call that video up and show it right here, right now. But anyway,
Maybe when your daughter starts working with you.
Yeah.
Yes.
When you get organized. Yeah.
Yes, maybe, just maybe. Well, look at everyone. This has been too much fun. It actually has been. So I appreciate the gang that's been hanging out with us. Tom, thanks for being here. Tom Ham, Rachel Walker, and JJ Greenfield. Have a
Thank
good
you,
weekend.
Carm.
guys.
Thank
We'll do
you.
this
Thanks for having
again.
us today.
We'll do this craziness again someday.
Sounds
Fun.
great.
Thanks. Nice